What I wanted. What's up? Oh my god. Alrighty then. Let's see. There. That should be good. Sorry if it's blurry as hell. What up? I'm streaming from my kitchen at like 4 a.m. Two little pro tips. Just because you buy dollar store headbands doesn't mean it's gonna make your hair look better. And when you're at the same dollar store, when you walk by the $3 queso and think, yeah, I can handle that. You know you're lactose intolerant, but you're really hungry and you feel like you can do it. Don't listen to that little voice in your head saying you can deal with it. Because waking up in the middle of the night with extreme cramps is not fun. Basically, fuck you past me. Fuck you. I am hurting right now, and I've got nothing else to do. I mean, I could go smoke weed in the living room, but that's what I was doing all day. That's why I bought that queso. Ugh. Although we did try the scoops today instead of the regular rounds that I usually get, and they're so great. You get less chip, but like you get more queso, so there's the win. And oh, great! Fritz is eating noisily. What's new with my life? Not much. It's kind of sucking right now. I don't feel like saying why to the internet. I don't feel like screaming that into the void. It just sucks right now. Although, upside is, I did finally see a rheumatologist, and it seems, which is basically a person that diagnoses things like arthritis or systemic conditions. Like if I had lupus, she'd be the person to find it, diagnose it, and help me start treating it. I don't have lupus, or have history of that in my family. That was one of the questions that came up in the thingy that I had to fill out before I saw her. She doesn't think there's anything systemically wrong with me, which means like no arthritis, none of that, yeah, lupus, that's not a thing I probably have, HIV. She went and poked all around my body and she gave me two different papers. One for an X-ray requisition, 20 minutes of X-rays. It turns out that it was like over 20 pictures that had to be taken of my hands, of my feet, of my spine. For once, slouching was a good thing because it allowed them to actually see the different vertebrae, which is really cool. I actually got to see my X-rays thanks to the nice technician. You know, she just let me poke my head around the corner while she looked at my spine, and that was so cool. And on the X-ray requisition, she had written some of the things that she'd ruled out. So things like particular inflammatory conditions of the spine she ruled out, and one systemic condition, I forget what it is now because I gave the requisition form in. But there was some nasty shit she rolled out just by poking around my body, and she poked parts of where it hurt, and when I winced and I was like, ow, it hurt, and apparently I sounded pathetic the whole time. She just nodded and was like, mm-hmm, goes on to poke the next spot, and it's like, my entire body's still flaring. Like, the appointment was on Monday, it's Saturday now? It just became Sunday. I still hurt. It took a few days, and my body was like really stiff and averse to movement, and then I was full out crippled, like unable to move from bed. I still did because I had no choice. You know, you got to go to the washroom and cook food, otherwise, you know, you're not gonna survive. But God, it hurt. It hurt so bad. Like, she poked my tender spots. She poked at least three. She poked the elbow tender spot. She poked the back of the shoulder tender spot. That one hurt. She poked one of the ones on my legs. It was not fun. I had to show up in shorts, so I got to wear my space shorts, which was awesome, but it hurt. And on the blood test sheet that they gave me, uh, half the bubbles were filled out. If you've ever gotten blood tests before, you know that they give you the form with like all the different things that they could test for under the different categories. And some of the dots are filled in, half the dots were filled in for me. Like all of the let's see. They were even testing me for a few STIs. I know they were looking for hepatitis and HIV and shit in the clap, which I had to pee in a cup so that they could check for that. I know I don't have that. I'm for certain about that. But, like, they had to take 4 thingies of blood for my different tests. It was crazy. There was... It It hurt too. It's like the first needle I've had in a while, and I get blood tests pretty regularly, at least like 2, 3 times a year. That one hurt. It hurt so bad. I've still got a little dot where she stabbed it in because she stabbed it in and it hurt unusually. And then apparently it was bleeding great. And she praised my veins and all that junk because, you know, I was stressed. I went in and I said, like, I'm nervous around needles. And she was like, okay. And she puts on her nicest face. And I know that she's doing her best and I'm doing my best. It worked out. But yeah, so that went okay. It just sucked. And I've yet to hear back from the rheumatologist. It's gonna be about July, early July, like first, second week of July. I'm gonna be seeing her, which is cool because we're almost to the first week of June, which is exciting. That's like a week from now, and I'm looking forward to the summer. I really am. June is Pride Month, and I'm so hype. I'm actually, if you can see, I've got loads of roots going on, so I actually want to bleach my hair, or at least bleach my roots, because I've got over an inch of that now, it's time. And I want to see if I can't color my hair as many colors as possible for Pride. I think that's going to look cool, and it's worth trying. Fuck. Oh yeah, let's see, what do I have this week? I see a psychiatrist this week. Which is great. This appointment's been rescheduled on me twice. I'm usually the reason my appointments get rescheduled. Not this time. This time it was supposed to be first week of May. Hey, stop that! Ugh. Ritz is trying to pull a sheet into his litter box. Because you know how cats do the scratchy thing. And he does that with sheets. He buries his food bowl every meal when he's done with it. It's adorable and irritating at the same time. Yeah, he's doing it with the food bowl. Where was I? Yeah, it was supposed to be like first week of May that I saw the psychiatrist, so I was like, yeah, I can do that, I can wait, no problem. Then she calls back and reschedules it to the 20th of May. Or was it, wait, no, April. No, then it was supposed to be April, first week of April. Right? So, and then she reschedules it for April 20th, 420, well, that's why I remembered the date. And then she reschedules it again, like, I show up on 420, only lightly toasted enough to get to the location, to the hospital for my diagnosis and junk. And I roll up to the fucking desk, and they're like, oh! Hey, hold on, we're figuring out a thing with a person, and I'm like, I'm Beck Tessier, and they're like, you're the person! And so, cause my file has 2 different names on it, because I changed my name at the end of last year. And it turns out every time I get something medical done, it's like, you're under a different name on our file, and I gotta be like, I changed my name, here's my health card, it has a new correct name, this is my name. And I've got to do that every time. I had to do that for my x-rays, I had to do that for my blood work, I had to do that for my doctor's appointment. I'm just wondering when it'll stop. Although it's kind of entertaining to watch the confusion and be like, I'm pretty sure that's me. But yeah, so I roll up and they're like, yeah, we were trying to, see how to get in contact with you to reschedule. And I'm like, well, I'm right here. So they were like, yeah, well, we'll have to call you back and reschedule. And that was like Friday. So they called me back on like Monday or Tuesday to reschedule. And I've got that next week. It's been rescheduled twice. The first week of April, she just called and said like, yeah, I'm busy, I'm not going to make it. But at least, with the first week of April, at least she called, like, in advance to say she couldn't make it. The second one, she just had somewhere to be, which was really frustrating. So, like, it got put off a whole month. Because it's like the 19th or 20th of May now. I'm still waiting on seeing this bitch. Like, the main reason I'm waiting to see her is because I just want to get on a mood stabilizer. The thing about bipolar 2 is, it's really tricky going on antidepressants if you don't have a mood stabilizer. Because, like, bipolar has you going up and down. Like, up for 3 days, down for 3 days. And you're going up and down. You get on an antidepressant, you stop going down, but you keep going up. And your mood keeps trying to cycle, and you keep going, I know because my partner, who also has it, tried going on straight-up antidepressants, and each time they just went up to a dangerous degree, to the point where it's like, don't let me leave the house, I'm not going to be safe. And it's like, yo, doc, You know, because that's stressful. That's a stressful thing to go through. If it's you and it's your brain spinning out of control, it's very difficult to deal with. Because you do got to keep yourself safe, and you do kind of got to keep your brain contained and within safe parameters and not being like, I can run into traffic for fun. Because it will do that. It's very frustrating. You know, at least Craigslist Personals is dead, which makes it easier to not take part in that risk-taking behavior. Like, hey, there's a dude from Portage la Prairie who wants to watch movies together. Let's do that. I did that once. Turned out great, actually. I just had a nice weekend with him and his boyfriend. It was fun. I think they ended up being boyfriends. I don't know. It was some cute gay pining, one for the other, but the other was like good with being just friends, and the other was like head over heels in love, and you can see it in his eyes, and it's like, oh, you poor gay sucker. You know, because everyone's been there. But let's see, what else is happening in my life? I was supposed to go to an overnight party thing. It's actually going on right now, out in Minnedosa. I had a ride, and I had a friend who was going. Ended up, you know, driving someone else out there. Because, like, she rented a car and everything, and she really wanted to go. But yesterday my body was flaring up because getting my tender spots poked, which sucked. Which means I wasn't up to traveling. I wasn't up to going and sitting in a car for 2.5 hours just to be outside all night and, like, have the party be over at, like, 8 a.m. when it started at 3 p.m. yesterday. Like, I wanted to go, but, like, it was gonna suck really hard. So instead I just stayed home and chilled with my partner, which is also pretty good. You know, this is my favorite party, the one that has the two of us. By the way, sorry if you're seeing the grody stove. I realize I got this propped up against a frying pan on my stove. It's not like, you know, heaps of dishes. It's just a singular frying pan. It's a small one that I use to make chicken with. I'm sorry, I'm talking away and I can't think of where to stop. Oh good, we are still going. 12-minute mark, super. Oh no, the camera's being absolute garbage. Well, there's nothing else, you got to listen to me talk. Yes, I'm shirtless today. I'm at home. I can be shirtless. I dealt with a lot of pain to be able to be shirtless. Hey, get down from there! Get! This is on the counter, but I can't do anything about it. So let's see, what else is new with my life? Well, I started dating one of my friends and stopped dating another, I guess. That's why life's so suckish right now. Just really bummed, you know, about that. I mean, we're good with still being friends, but like, you know how after a breakup you need to take some space for yourself and some time to just exist with your feelings and figure out where you want to be now before you involve the other person in your life again. Like, I had a friend of mine who went through a breakup, and I told them, like, you gotta do that. You gotta take at least, like, a few weeks to a month without talking to him, because it was a long-distance relationship, so they were talking all the time, all day. And it's like, the moment the other's, awake and online, they're talking to each other all the time, hours into that, ruining sleep schedules for that conversation. Which is okay when you're dating, but when you've just broken up and you're doing the same thing, and if you're committing the same time and effort into a relationship as you did before you broke up, has the relationship really ever properly ended? If you haven't stopped to put that effort into you post-breakup, has it even happened, really? Have you processed it? And that's the question I was asking them, like, you know, hey, have you taken the time and the space to, you know, reset your boundaries and, you know, determine what you each want independently? And they didn't do that. They just, you know, remained just as enmeshed as they had been before. And sure enough, 3-4 months later, I'm hearing after multiple, you know, attempts at breaking up, but still being in contact. Okay, minimizing contact, and then that creeps back in within a week, and it's like 3-4 months later I hear like, yeah, I just had to break contact with him, you know, it wasn't a healthy friendship for me at all, you know, we didn't have these healthy boundaries, and I kept having to make exceptions with this, and kept doing this, and kept doing that, and it's like, I told you, buddy, I told you. But it's a lot harder hearing it from the outside when it's the midst of the situation and it's like, well, you just broke up, but I just want to spend time with them still, and you gotta physically, forcibly distance yourself for a while so that you've got time to focus on you. And like, there comes a point where during a breakup you're thinking, like, why isn't everything just normal? Why can't things go back to normal? And your brain's, like, kind of in that thought process. And then it realizes, oh, wait, right, it isn't. Let's adjust to that reality now. And then you just feel miserable for a while, and you're going through that miserable phase, waiting for your brain to decide it's processed what's going on and for you to just move on with your life. I'm waiting on that. It's like, I remember the situation, and it's just misery, and I feel shitty. And, so I distract myself, cooking, cleaning, on the internet, doing a vlog for the first time in, like, 1 or 2 months. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've just been so sick. Literally, my body's been flaring non-stop, and the bipolar's been whooping my ass so hard the last couple months, especially with all those missed appointments. So, like, here I am doing a vlog to try and avoid dealing with my feelings in silence, because Rowan's asleep, because it's 4 a.m. I passed out early yesterday, like, around 6-ish. Like, I was awake for a couple hours after I passed out, but I passed out around, like, 4-ish, so... it's been an evening for me. But yeah, I'm feeling miserable. I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, I've got another friend that we've decided to step it up to, like, basically acknowledge those feelings that have been happening, and that's great. That's something I'm still happy for, and yeah, in the time after a breakup, it's good to turn your attention to and start nourishing other relationships so that you fill that space a little bit. And so you're not sitting here like, I want to put my time and attention into someone, why can't I? It's like, because if you're sitting there wondering that, then you'll never, put it anywhere else. You'll just be thinking of that absence in your life rather than redirecting your energies and, getting used to things as they are now. And, again, I'm trying to do that. Because sometimes things just can't work out as they are. Either you're not the right people in the moment, or the situation isn't right. Either you can't do something about the situation, or you can't do something about yourself. You can't be the person that needs to deal with the situation right now. Sometimes you find yourself in a position, and you just gotta do your best. And, roll with it as best as you can. And if you can't roll with it, then you do something about it. And some things you can't roll with anymore, so you do something about it. And I did. Sucks. Sorry, I'm thinking, but my brain's kind of not wanting to address feelings, but I want to. I want to have this dialogue on here, because this is basically a record of how my life's going, right? My mental state right now is just half not wanting to deal with something that really sucks, and not having much else to do at the moment. Like, I was gonna go to that party, and I was gonna take my mind off things and just go have fun, but it's been a week, The feelings are setting in, the situation's feeling real for my brain, so it's, sucking either way. If I'd went, I would probably just be miserable sitting outside, dealing with flies and shit or something. And, there's always something different. I mean, the party was free, but travel wouldn't have been, and we went and spent that travel money on groceries instead. That's how we got the headbands, and we got some extra cat food for Ritz to make sure that he's eating till our next paycheck. We've been messing that up recently, and it's like, yeah, we've got enough cans. We've got a pile of cans, but actually going in and counting, it's like, we're 4 days short at least. Fuck. So I went and counted before we went shopping, and I was like, yeah, we're like, a few days short. So I went and got like 3 extra cans. So now I don't have to worry about that, which is really great. We also got mystery meat sauce at the Dollarama, so I'm excited to try that, because, like, I can't deal with the regular straight-up pasta sauce anymore that comes in the cans or the jars at the dollar store. It's like, you eat something enough, and it just makes you literally nauseous to smell it. I've done that pretty much with with the tomato sauces at the dollar store. Because I've been eating those to force food to go longer, like to just eat pasta and that sauce. For 2 years now. Like, 2 years ago, I was in a house where there just wasn't enough money, people weren't able to make rent, and it was just a garbage situation in general. Now it's just money's tight, and it's like, are we feeding the cat or are we feeding ourselves? So it's like, get that Dollarama food to make the money go farther. I can't force myself to eat that pasta sauce anymore. So I've decided to diversify, so I'm eating the mystery meat sauce. We've also, enjoyed, like, some cream sauces. Like, we got a couple jars of Alfredo and a jar of rosé from fucking, like, Walmart or something. That was pretty great, and it was delicious. I loved it. It was very nice. But, we can't go to Walmart under our own steam because we don't have that travel. And, well, we did have travel, a couple weeks ago, but, don't have that right now, so we're trying the meat sauce. Pray that we don't get sick or some shit. I mean, the dollar store's pretty hit and miss. Either it hits really well or it misses pretty hard. Like, we've opened up some cans of ravioli from the dollar store and it's like, fucked. It's so grody. So, wish, again, luck. I should probably shut up and end this now. At least I've gotten to get my thoughts out. Take care. Bye.